everyone, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we are going to talk about my breastfeeding journey and what I've done to increase and maintain my breast milk supply. So let's get started. So full disclaimer, I am a registered nurse. However, I am not a lactation consultant. So everything that I will be telling you today is based on the research that I did for myself during this journey. However, I did consult with my personal lactation consultant prior to filming the video just to make sure that the information that I will be giving you is safe and that I'm not giving you inaccurate information. Now, someone just started to cry, so we're gonna take a quick break and be right back. So let me just start by saying breastfeeding is hard. Oh. Boy, is it hard. Breastfeeding is so physically and emotionally demanding, especially after having a baby. You just have to deal with your emotions, and then on top of that, you're struggling to produce enough milk for your baby. Breastfeeding can be extremely hard. Trust me. I know, I experienced it, and I struggled a lot to the point where I almost gave up on breastfeeding completely. And that's kind of what led me to do a little bit of research and start doing a couple different things at home to try to increase my supply and maintain it. So let's get started with some of these tips of the things that I've done to help me increase my breast milk supply. Saying breastfeeding is a supply and demand situation. So the more you pump or feed your baby, the more milk your body is going to produce. So with that being said, I started introducing pumping because I wanted to create a freezer stash because my daughter's going to daycare. So I wanted to have a stash just in case my milk supply decreases or something changes or I'm not home and my husband needs to feed her. I just think it's really important to have some milk in your freezer. Even if you don't have a freezer full of milk, if you have some milk, it'll be better than nothing. So if you're gonna pump, I would recommend pumping 2 to 3 times a day. Currently, I pump 3 times a day. When I started pumping, however, I only pump twice a day. So make sure you're pumping for 10 to 15 minutes, 2 to 3 times a day. And don't look at how much you're putting out because at first it's not gonna be much. When I started pumping, I was making about 2 to 4 ounces a pump. And now I make anywhere from 8 to 12 ounces every time that I pump. And I will insert some pictures and show you guys my freezer so you could see all the stuff that I have. But just continue to do it. Again, breastfeeding, this is like the #1 thing. Supply and demand. The more you feed your baby and the more you pump, the more milk you will produce. This is what all the providers and lactation nurses that I spoke to told me, that is the biggest thing with breastfeeding. Tip #2 is hydration. You have to stay hydrated because you are making milk. You are feeding your baby. You're creating this food for your baby and you must stay hydrated. Most adults don't drink the right amount of water that they should drink every day. So what I have done is I just double whatever amount of water I typically drink. So if I drink 2 liters of water, my goal now while breastfeeding is to drink 4 liters of water. And again, you don't have to go overboard with the hydration. Just make sure that you're drinking. What I do is I always have a water bottle with me at all times, and that usually seems to help because I'm always thirsty, which is another thing. Breastfeeding makes you very thirsty, so that should not be very hard to do. So yeah, hydration, drink lots and lots and lots of water. Tip #3, and this is something that obviously it's not proven by science, but all moms know it. I know it. Every person that I know that breastfeeds knows it. Eat oatmeal. I know, old people food. Nobody likes oatmeal, but I actually like oatmeal. So I was eating a lot of oatmeal while I was pregnant. I don't know if that has anything to do with the fact that I'm making such great supply, but I do try to eat oatmeal a couple times a week. At least 3 times a week I eat oatmeal for breakfast. And I try to incorporate oats in, you know, whatever type of other foods that I'm making. So sometimes if I'm making pancakes, like on Sundays, we make pancakes for breakfast. So sometimes I do make oatmeal pancakes for myself just to try to incorporate that oatmeal somehow, because I do find that when I don't eat oatmeal for a couple of days, my milk supply will drop a little bit. So definitely incorporate that in however way you want. I will link the oatmeal that I use down below so you guys can check it out if you want to. I get it at Wegmans and it's really delicious. Tip #4 is lactation cookies. Yes, lactation cookies. So I will link the ones that I use down below. They're the Munchkin ones, is the lactation cookies. They're a little pricey, but they're so good. And I do honestly feel like they do help my breast milk supply. However, you can make your own at home. There's tons and tons of recipes on Pinterest to make your own homemade lactation cookies. As long as you have oatmeal, flaxseed, and brewer's yeast, bring on the milk, because that's pretty much what's in the lactation cookies that you're going to buy at store. So I have made my own homemade lactation cookies at home. I only did it twice, but I will link the recipe that I used down below. And my last tip is don't stress. Breastfeeding and motherhood are hard enough. So if you have to supplement with formula, supplement with formula. If you have to just stop breastfeeding because you're not producing enough, because you just can't take it or is stressing you out, then that's what you have to do. Do whatever is best for you and your baby and your family. Don't ever let anyone think that you have to breastfeed your baby, because you don't, okay? My first child was breastfed for about 2 months, and after that point I had to transition to formula, and she turned out just fine. She's a straight A student in the National Honor Society, so there you have it. And she doesn't ever get sick. So you know, it is what it is. Do whatever's best for you. Don't stress, because that will affect your breast milk supply, and your baby will know that you're stressed, and that will affect your baby. So you want to be happy and, you know, emotionally stable, which is very hard after you have a baby. So don't do anything else that's going to make you even more stressed. So that's everything that I have for today. Those are my tips for breastfeeding and increasing your supply. Again, these are things that I do personally, and they have worked very, very, very well for me. If you guys have any other questions about breastfeeding, leave them down below for me and I will try to get to them. And yeah, that's all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and subscribe to my channel so you guys can check out all my videos, yo. I don't know why I did that, but all right, I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.